welcome everyone to another Phoenix Wright live stream. Jen, welcome to the stream, man. Now we are going to be essentially trying to get this game over with today. I got time. The only thing I would have to take time out to do is check my lineups on FanDuel and make sure everyone's started. So we have all the time in the world right now to finish this game today. And we gonna do it. We gonna do it. February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Numero Dos. This is the defendant lobby, alright. But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Alana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if... something's been happening behind the scenes. Oh, shit, Edgeworth. Oh, God. Hey, Edgeworth, what's up? It's been a little while, buddy. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is. That is... well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Wink wink, nudge nudge. The 7-7 case, there are 7 sevens. We're gonna find some way to make it like the DL9 incident or something like that. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. That number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right? And Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty. Damn, we got a 5-minute time limit. Okay. Okay, Edgeworth, I see you. But she didn't do it. Oh, in about half an hour, I'll also state you'll probably see something pop up for a notification. I'm downloading Destiny right now, so yeah. Don't mind the pop-up, the notification that's gonna happen in like half an hour. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here. To hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. It all goes back to that shit. It's confusing. It's wibbly-wobbly interjection. It's confusing, Edgeworth. It hurts my brain thinking about it. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. Ball's in your court, Edgeworth. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. See ya, Edgeworth. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant was on her, what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom numero 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lorna Sky. Defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant? Oh my god, he appeared out of nowhere! What the fuck? He materialized out of literally nowhere. Okay. Whatever. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? He's asking that to you, chat, so, answer the man. Be kind and polite. I don't remember how that was pronounced. Hey, Udiki? Udiki? Been back to the pool yet? No, I've been, drowning enough as it is in my work. Work, not a fanfiction. I'm not writing a fanfiction. Nope, that's not happening. Let this son of a bitch know about it. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that? If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Why is there no music? This is ominous that there's no music. Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. Now, are you a boy or a girl? In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Is she gonna walk up there and just admit to everything? Do not do this, Lana. Don't do this. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. I am halfway through. I've gotten through 4 episodes, and I'll tell you now, Season 5's the best. It's the best season. It is the best season, Last Chance U. I might, let's see, it depends on what I'm doing, but I might binge through the rest of it tonight, possibly. In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. That coach, though, he's great. He seems like such a nice dude. Dior's amazing. I feel bad for RJ. No, Lana! Objection! Yeah! Phoenix coming in. You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. You's a bitch! Honestly, RJ has a point, but he sounds like a whiny bitch most of the time. Through the first 4 episodes, yeah, he complains a lot, but I get what he, like, I understand why he's complaining. I understand why he's complaining, but you gotta understand. He's got to understand that you got to devise the offense around your top player, and D or quarterback or receiver is their top offensive weapon. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. Plus he keeps running to the sideline. Yeah. He won't make it. I'm just waiting for him to hit a double move, man. Just hit a double move. I'd like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well then, the defendant clearly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise.
This can't be happening.
It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
My boy! Edward! This is why we're a tag team, man. This is why we're a tag team. Yeah, man. Best tag team in all of law. Wright and Edgeworth. Everyone fears the offices of Wright and Edgeworth. Edgeworth and Wright. Yeah, that's better. Edgeworth and Wright. One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Dior is absolutely my favorite player this year. Yeah, oh man, he's great. Like the second he was in the car and he was just talking about him, everything and all that, talking how he's gotta get better and looking at it positively. I'm like, I want this guy in my locker room immediately. How you wouldn't want a guy like this in your locker room makes no sense to me.
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy.
No, come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut?
Can't, why you gotta use that wording? That sounds suspicious as shit. Oh, the finger! Oh, he wagged the finger at Chief Gant!
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be.
Oh man, it's the tag team of Edgeworth and Wright.
With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh, to whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Sky.
Ooh! Oh shit, we're starting with Emma?
I request the court hears her testimony.
Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue.
I don't care.
She keeps talking. Edgeworth's just like, it doesn't matter what you think, Miss Sky. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. We make all the jokes of them being a tag team, and he comes in with the rock line. It doesn't matter what you think, Miss Sky. Can you smell what Edgeworth is cooking? Oh, man. Oh, shit, she's flabbergasted now. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Woo! Hot damn! We went through the trials over already to Edgeworth teaming up with Wright being like, I don't think so. To Lana being like, no, it's over. To Edgeworth just being like, fuck you, this is happening. Oh, man. Woo! It's a roller coaster already.
Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant?
Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words.
He's not going to give him a starter Pokemon now. Either that or he's like going to give him like a really pissed off Pikachu. Yeah. Miss Emma Sky, please take the stand.
Meet your starter, Magikarp. It only knows how to splash.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. I mean, he is one half of the greatest lawyer tag team of all time. And it's not very effective. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Sky. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Hey! Did you see that? Edgeworth said, I'm sorry. Good guy Edgeworth! Look at him.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of one Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then. I'll get back to my fanfiction. Yes, quite.
He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Two years ago.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
It's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You Got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
But I'm not... I was relieved of my duties. How can I do anything when I was relieved of my duties? I feel like just Edgeworth is doing both prosecution and defense now. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yes. She was second in command under the deputy chief of police, Dan.
You the man-hearted is, Jeff. Yeah, he's getting the push while I have to keep reinventing myself.
My sister, she was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. The Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Guy used to be quite the pair.
I believe they shared the same office.
That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too.
The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day.
Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work.
What do you think they were trying to get to eat? Where do you think they were gonna go for dinner? I'm thinking they were gonna go to like some not like high-priced location. I'm talking like Red Lobster, Olive Garden type. Like it's fancy for your everyday man. I take that back. Olive Garden ain't fancy. Because when you're here, you're family. A man?
Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer.
Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. Date idea, go to Olive Garden and just eat bread. I mean, that's a cheap date right there. Hey, endless soup, salad, and breadsticks, man.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room. Right.
It ain't cheap, it's free, which is why it's cheap. Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office.
There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony.
I assume that would be why he was the first to run after Dark.
Then Dark brought me. I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't remember clearly what happened then.
You don't remember Cleary? No, that's not funny. Because Cleary didn't win his playoff game. Man, I really wanted Cleary Bramble 4. Especially in the AFC Championship game. That would have been great. Fucks with the Twitch, Emma.
I'll never forget what I saw in that instant.
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out.
Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything right.
Right, but just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Should know Miami has no place in the playoffs no matter who in charge. Well, I mean, they got rid of Raheem Donald. I think that's what killed him. Look at how well he's done for Jacksonville in this season of the franchise. And Raheem Donald's been great to have on the team. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago.
Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw.
Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before.
Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough?
By the way, Gruden said more than likely not a single Raiders player will opt out. Yeah, the Jags so far they haven't heard anything about any players dropping out yet. Hey, look, Destiny installed. Cool. No Jags have opted out yet, which, not surprised. He wasn't playing anyways. Yeah. I mean, I don't consider him on the roster. He hasn't signed, so he's not on the roster. So no Jags have dropped yet. No Jags have opted out. He's technically not on the team because he hasn't signed, so. This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. Yeah, I know he wants the fuck out, but apparently, I'm just gonna say this, like, if he was worth what he thinks he's worth, we would have already traded him for a first-round pick. That's the thing that I don't understand. Like, he believes he's worth a lot, which he is. Nobody's willing to give Jacksonville what they want, which is a first-round pick. If somebody gave up a first-round pick, he'd be out already. It's just that easy. Because the Jags aren't going to budge. They're going to sit there until they get what they want. They did the same thing with Jalen, and they fleeced the Rams. Oh, no, they're not. You saw what they did with Jalen. They sat still, and the Rams gave up 2 first-round picks like idiots. If they can get 2 first-round picks for Jalen, yeah, Jalen's. I saw the thing about Jalen commenting on Henry Ruggs' Instagram photo. I'm like, it's just what I thought was gonna happen. You trade 2 first-round picks away for the guy, and he's not gonna re-sign with you. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen to the Rams, and I feel kind of bad for them. But 1, they've got like no cap, and 2, Jalen wasn't gonna re-sign in the first place. He's gonna go where the money is, and he knows Oakland will pay him. Plus, it's Vegas. He gets to be in the spotlight. It's everything he wants. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost.
You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right?
Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes.
That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken?
But I did draw it! I swear! I'm not just imagining it!
This picture that Emma drew, that reminds me. Guess I should check the evidence again. I found the picture! I like that the one time I'm like, maybe it's on the evidence sheet. And I look at it, I'm like, well, of course, they don't show me anything on the evidence sheet. Just happened to turn it around, be like, I wonder, maybe there's more evidence on the backside. Yeah, there's evidence on the backside for damn sure. I found the picture. A picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. I've got a very bad feeling about this. Well, anyway, let's continue. This scene that imprinted an image in your mind. Can you please describe it to us?
The man.
We don't care about that anymore, actually. Yo! Edgeworth! My dude! I got a photo! This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. So I want you to look at this photograph. It's not really a photograph. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. He's right, he's not the bad guy here. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a piece of paper. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold!
This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident.
Please turn it over, Your Honor. Flip that bitch on its back.
Turn it over. Turn it.
Ah!
What's this?
Yes. What is this?
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Holy shit, that's a picture. It's a magic marker. I can't tell who's what.
Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. I mean, that sure as hell looks like this man's about to get stabbed with a knife. I believe they are recreating what they call the ECW.
What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list.
Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one list. Schindler's List. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other.
So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What?
Order! Order in my court, Mr. Edgeworth. Please, as the kids say nowadays, calm the fuck down. But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor?
Are you all right, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. You look like that guy off of America's Got Talent.
If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Well, by God, this man just figured shit out. I didn't even think about that.
Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's possible. Let's see. He's a car now.
Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth?
You even have to ask? Look at that face. Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. Wait a minute. Wait the fuck a minute. Does that mean this entire time the Blue Badger has been a witness to a case that is 2 years old?
That thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. Yes, he was out of scrap paper.
Very well. Witness, will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Come on, Emma. Testify.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind.
Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw.
Well, I don't see any contradictions here. It clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
My issue is this. They were just shadows. How do we know it was Dark trying to kill Marshall if all she saw were shadows? Using that big brain. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything.
During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Sky. 2 or 3 days later, memory should still have been fresh in her mind.
Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black?
So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue?
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
You were knocked to the floor?
Doug had a tight grip on me when Mr. Marshall jumped on it. I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry.
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. You really need to torture this girl any further. What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture.
Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course! This is the exact scene!
Wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. Better watch out or you might find someone to cut my salary.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture?
Huh? Oh, well, that's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. So he goes stab wound piercing the heart and lung. Didn't that say he died from a punctured lung? Stabbed in the back. From the look of this image. Not the one on the right, the one on the left. There's no way a man's stabbing a man in the back like that. Look at me talking through the evidence and figuring it out. Are you proud of me? Are you proud of me for using my brain, figuring this out? I just done did that. I talked through it, figured it out. I'm getting there. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've got some bad news for you. This picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out what this contradiction is for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report?
Oh. Okay, so it's because the drawing stinks. I like that.
Mr. Wright, how could you?
The act of making an innocent girl cry should warrant the death penalty. Guess he means I shouldn't shift the blame to others.
Yes, well, so long as the defense has learned his lesson.
The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken.
Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright.
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
Objection!
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Yes. Oh.
What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. Woo! Oh, the back and forth blows by these two. Well, they're not done. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered it correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Woohoo! Have you forgotten already? God, I love how fast-paced this is going right now. This is great. About a little something called falsified evidence. You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Oh.
Order! Order at my court. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gans. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie.
I'm not lying! The man really was holding up a broken knife!
If that's true, then there's no other way around it. Shit is getting real. This is intense. I feel like we're in an actual courtroom now. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being not one but two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's? Have there been one? There is one. There is another one. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error.
Mr. Wright?
In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. So please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Wait, do I have to show this? I think I gotta show the picture. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. Look at this photograph. Every time I do, I feel right. It was the mascot. The Blue Badger did it the entire time. He was controlled by Leon Kawada. This is a picture of the awards ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor Marshall is holding?
That's a broken knife!
He had that annoying song play for 24 hours straight and it killed him. That's what really did it. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order! Order! Order in my court! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As a reward, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. Yeah, I got my lineups ready. I went into the big game tonight. I wasn't going to, but I did anyways. So I've got my lineups ready. I'm keeping eyes on it. I'm hoping we can finish this before lineups lock, so I can make any quick changes if need be. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because if the king of prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed.
What do you mean? Oh, you're playing all the games. I'm just playing the main lineup. I'm just playing the main lineup. Why is Kimba only gonna play 18 to 20 minutes? That seems like a bad idea. Seems like a terribly bad idea. I mean, oh, injury? Okay. At least he's gonna play though. That's good. Hopefully Wanamaker and Smart can step up for that. Well, actually, Jalen Brown will probably play point then. He'll probably move into point. Or Smart will move into point and Brown will move to shooting guard for the time then.
This man raising a knife would have been prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Oh. Oh!
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died.
That's true. What's going on here?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait! I remember now! I remember! Everything!
Every time that happens, I'm gonna sing that line. Every time it happens. Because one, that track is amazing. Five Finger Death Punch is awesome. And you just got to. You just got to. You got one lineup tonight, 3 tomorrow. All my lineups are for tonight. I think I've got 4 lineups. No, I've only got 2 lineups set tonight. I've got one cheap game and then one for the big game. Hoping that lineup works. That was a $4 game I went into. I don't normally go into those games.
Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth!
What is it?
Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His lish. The one with that picture scribbled on the back.
Yeah.
I knew it! This picture, I'm the one who drew it!
Did do it. The Blue Badger is the killer the entire time! $4 game, I put all mine in $2 games. I went one and do the $4 game solely because it's the big money game. And I was like, you know what? Let's just give it a shot. I normally don't do great in basketball, but I was just like, you know what? Why not? The key's going to be if AD plays. If AD doesn't play, I'm screwed. What? You drew that?
That's right! The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture.
She drew the Blue Badger.
At this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Sky?
Yes, Your Honor.
First the knife mix-up, and now the Blue Badger? This should be interesting. Emma's recollection.
When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, And that's when I saw the blue badger.
What? 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 Why in blue hell did she see the blue badger? That's what I want to know.
He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow.
Oh. She saw him outside.
This is certainly most unusual.
So I went banana boating today and I slipped off and went into the middle and the driver was an ass. And before I got back, he hit driving my ass, ended up taking a swim. Oh man. I would never do that because I can't swim, so I would never do it. But man, you're the driver who just liked fucking with you. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago.
Yes, well, the defense man...
Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Lana?
What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Scott, we've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! I will have quiet in my courtroom and let me speak. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant.
Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter.
Wee!
When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark?
Yes, at least I think it was him.
You think?
All I could really see were shadows.
The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports.
So then you...
Why would you do something so dangerous?
What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall.
She seems convinced that Drake was the one holding the knife.
But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that dark guy knocked me down,
I don't know why I keep calling him Drake. I keep switching the R and the A.
all I could think was, I gotta help that other person.
What do you mean you think?
It all happened so fast. I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur.
My mother was like, dig your foot into the crevasse, and I was like, I have a sprained ankle, it don't bend that way. You objected. You straight up said I object. Miss Sky was almost killed before she was witness to a murder. About to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural.
I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what happened next? Whoops, wrong thing.
Just then, there's another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger!
How in God's green earth? Are you sure about this?
Of course! See? I even drew a picture of him here!
But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable.
I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before. Now I finally remember.
Oh, brother, just when you thought that that thing had caused enough commotion.
Tell us, when in the room did you see him dancing?
His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all?
That's right, but I still remember. He had 3 creepy horns.
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's impossible is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this Blue Badger? Huh. Okay. Okay. I think I might have an idea. I think I might have an idea. First things first, though, I definitely want to save here. I think I know what she saw. I think my big brain has activated. The Blue Badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, Wonderwall. It is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Mr. Wright?
In this room. Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger lookalike.
The mysterious blue badger was in fact this.
But that, what exactly is that?
I believe it's some sort of jar.
But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint?
Our viewpoint?
Gotta show them the correct angle to look at this form. Or to look at this from. You can see through it. I thought initially I knew exactly how it was supposed to be, but now I'm unsure. All I know is these two things are on the side. Still think it's like this. This isn't right. I've got to make it look more like the badger. Allow me to remind the defense its case hinges on the witness's drawing. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept his claim. Gotta find just the right angle. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more. Or horizontally. That didn't help at all.
Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it!
Gotta show them the correct angle to look at this. That's the only way I can think that would make it kind of look like the blue badger. Maybe that way, but... No, that isn't right either, apparently. Every time I hear this music, it makes me want to join a Danganronpa killing game. I don't know exactly what the right angle is here. Oh. That's the most I got it to look like it. Okay, you know what? You know what? Blue badger vase. Apparently the blue badger is gonna make people kill themselves. That is a thing I found here. It's apparently, everybody's saying it's a pain in the ass. I was close. I was close. Rotate it. Is that right? Boom! I was close. I was close. I wasn't gonna spend like 30 minutes on that because I know it would have taken me forever to get there. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this yard. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. No, it can't be. Plus, no one wants to listen to that music for too long, so it's good to finish that up real quick.
Order! Order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Objection!
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
Objection!
Have you not seen this jar? I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? Location, a murder weapon, a murder run. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. What? Phoenix, you're not making sense now. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. I see where he's going now. Got him. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason.
Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright?
I finally figured it out. before I have to show any evidence, I'm gonna save real quick. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now, tell me, what could have sent the jar flying?
That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit?
Ah!
The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword.
Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor, was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, my God, M is a murderer. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room.
Another possibility?
Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this.
Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma's Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, Emma killed a man. You're a murderer.
You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me?
So they have all been essentially trying to protect her.
No!
She fainted. Medic! Medic! Our witness is down! I never imagined her testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
Hi, Lana.
What? What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances,
Jedi murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her?
imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep everyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it?
I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall?
Evidence?
I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
We don't have evidence, and we'll have to rely on testimony.
I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead.
You certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Touche, Miss Sky. What the fuck does Edgeworth, what do you know? What do you have planned, man? Let your tag team partner in on some things, come on.
Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Neil Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another.
That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
Gotta think back to the court records.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, I got an idea.
Hey, welcome to the stream. I'm gonna butcher your name, and I fully apologize. Usunt Moon. I always like to try to pronounce the names initially. I'm just gonna call you Moon, because I'm sure I butchered it, and I fully apologize. The real murderer's name, the victim may have left behind. Yeah, we've been streaming this for a long time. This has taken a while. You already followed me? I did not know. I apologize, Moon. I apologize. I haven't seen you in here for a while then. That's why I didn't recognize. I apologize. Well, it's obviously got to be there. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister's a murderer?
Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased.
Hey! Music stops, which means I gotta be right. This is the message from the deceased.
Right. Now then, this is the message from the judge.
Fuck. Oh. I guess that wasn't right. I'm gonna save this real quick, just in case now. Just in case. I really thought I had it. Yeah, I forgot to save initially. That's why I kind of regretted going into that when I did. A dead person left behind a message. Have to be in written form. It's the only conclusion.
You better be careful or you might wind up deceased yourself.
Damn, Phoenix! Oh yeah, not always the music stops at good moments. Yeah, I'm just used to it. I'm just used to it.
Let's try this again. Now then, Mr. Wright.
Yeah. There was nothing there. That. It's kanji. It's fucking kanji.
This is that blue badger from before, right?
I don't know why I didn't recognize that as kanji beforehand. Normally I'm pretty good when it comes to like people writing down kanji as evidence. I normally catch it. Didn't even catch it that time. Didn't even catch it as kanji. Oh, I feel stupid. All those episodes of Case Closed where they wrote stuff in kanji, all out the window. I gotta watch season 1 all over again now. Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. Phoenix would slap you probably. He'd object to me and then get mad. No, Edgeworth would be the one to slap me. He'd just boom. He'd go to town. He'd also cut my pay. A message was left here on the surface of this jar.
What do you mean?
If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar, and it's in kanji. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Wait. Wait, what? Nothing? Nothing, Lana? Really? You got nothing to say? Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Oh, it actually is spelled in English. Never mind. I just thought it was kanji. I forgot, this game doesn't take place in Japan. It takes place in America. I keep forgetting that.
Yes, there is a line where there is a line here, drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. It does in Japan, but it's in English. But is in English action. They keep talking about it like it's in America, though. That's the weird thing. I will say, though, if there were trials like this in America with people like Wright and Edgeworth, man, jury duty would be fun as hell. You know how fun jury duty would be if you were sitting in the courtroom and you got to listen to Edgeworth and Phoenix? Oh my, and then the judge being the judge, the way I voice act him, oh my god, it'd be so fun. One that someone apparently wiped away. The blood must have spread into the jar where the lines changed directions. Must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Whew. Perhaps Detective Gumshoe would help you. Where's Gumshoe when we need him? Where's my boy? Precisely so. All we need to do is connect those points, and the victim's message will become apparent. Now, this court is not realistic. Sometimes they break constitutional rights. Yeah. But it'd be fun as hell, though, wouldn't it? It'd be fun as hell.
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Gotta connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances. I am serious. No, oh yeah, they would break constitutional rights all over the place. But I mean, it'd be fun as hell to watch. You'd kind of be pissed off to a point watching it. But it'd be fun. His murderer's name. So wait, what do I have to do? Do I legit have to... Oh, I legit have to connect the dots. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, I'm good. At first, I thought I was drastically wrong there. Woo! Hey, I always loved to connect the dots. Who didn't love connect the dots? I mean, come on. Oh, okay, guess that's the way you write E's, okay. When you're dying kind of makes sense. Oh. The hell do you connect to? What the hell? There's no way that... Yeah. I'm going all the way back just because I want to make sure. Like... Okay, yeah. I wanted to make sure this thing didn't connect any... Yeah. Put that together again. Oh no, don't worry. I was just double checking. Because it felt weird to me that didn't connect. It annoyed me. I figured I didn't need to underline or anything like that. I felt like it was wrong that it didn't connect. That was just me being a perfectionist trying to get it to connect. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Where'd you get your license from? Nowhere. Emma. Bum, bum, bum. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people. Wait, that was terrible, Sean Connery. Let me find it. There it is. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Damn. Not gonna lie, never thought that was gonna happen. Oh shit, Professor Oak's back. See, Worthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Hi, Professor Oak. Can we choose our starters now? Chief Gant?
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
Don't trust me because of this evidence. The case goes deeper. Really? Oh, Lord.
What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Doc was sentenced to death? He was convinced because of his final murder. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death.
I mean, he was still a killer.
Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
Gotta love it. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable.
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice?
What?
We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
Fuck, he's right. What's going on in the prosecutor's office? They might have sentenced an innocent man to death. How can he stand by there and just watch? Order! 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 Woo! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. I always love though when the crowd goes batshit. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Whew! We ain't done yet. We gonna keep going. I said we are finishing this game on Twitter. We are finishing this. I got time. We are doing this. Chief is doing psychological warfare. Oh, son of a bitch. Whew. Before we get going with this, since we are getting close to the 2-hour mark, what I've been doing now is every 2 hours, we are going to take an ad break, just to give me a chance to get up, stretch my legs a bit, use the bathroom if need be, get a drink, all that type of stuff, and then we'll get back to it. So, since we're almost at the 2-hour mark, I'm just going to take the ad break now. You guys enjoy your ads. If you're a sub, you can take a look at the couch, talk to him for a bit. I'm sure he'll love the conversation. I'm going to stretch my legs a bit and go to the bathroom and all that. I will see you guys in 60 seconds. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you had a productive 60-second ad break, whether you used the bathroom, got a beverage of some sort, a snack maybe. Let's get back into it now, why don't we? February 25th, 12:06. So it took 2 hours to get through that first part of the trial. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. How's everybody doing? You guys need a hug? I got some hoagies from down the street. You guys need some? You looks upset. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Then maybe we can bro it up a bit. Yous guys, yeah, okay. I'll see yous guys later. Poor Gumshoe was sad. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, are you going to study law? That is awesome. I've always been interested by law. Now, I can never do it. That's why I got an arts major. That's why I got an arts degree. I'm film and video production, but, you know. Yeah, law and psychology. 2 things that really interest me. And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Take it Lana's having you run errands again? Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? What? Edgeworth was just talking about this just the other day. The rules of evidence law. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him? Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law! Explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Quick question. What is considered the second Bible? I don't know, you got me. Legitimate, I got nothing. I got nothing. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me, the Constitution... I was thinking that's where you were going. I was thinking that's where you were going. I was thinking that might have been where you were going. That was in my brain. I was like, nah, it can't be that. So it was there. I just didn't think fully that's what the answer was going to be. So I was on the right track, I just went off. Mr. Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all ruined from this forged evidence you were unaware of. And when Sky found out, she unwillingly killed a man. And now you're telling me You want to do more? You don't win by only thinking. You also have to action. Also have to use action. And you ain't wrong there. You ain't wrong there. You've gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Oh man, no knuckle crack. Ah, it's like that was the perfect time for a knuckle crack. I got nothing. They won't crack.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of one Miss Lana Sky. Miss Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions.
Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Hey, Jaren, welcome back, man. You missed us solving a case, or part of a case. Missed it. There was a thrilling conclusion to who killed a man. Never would have guessed.
Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but,
oh, you got a job now. Good for you, man. Good for you.
This isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have,
struck a bargain. It's tutoring my cousin with her online school, so it's simple and my anxiety won't panic. There you go. That's how you do it. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses?
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I should put that though in the fanfic. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and...
Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution.
Solution?
That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses.
What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing.
Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. I get paid to help a second grader with multiplication division. Life is good. Ah, I wish it was that easy for me, man. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say?
Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue this trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal.
Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness.
The best thing is, while she's on her calls, I can bullshit on my laptop and PlayStation. Priorities. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. You called the wrong witness. This trial is as good as over. The defense calls... I didn't save. We call the dead man to the stand! Why is Xbox streaming golf with your friends with only 633 viewers? I don't know. Ah, shit. Here we go again. Ah, here we go. If you get that reference, you watch some good 90s television. Ah, yes. Call the dead man. We're going to call the Undertaker to the stand as well. We're going to call both Goodman and the Undertaker. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. The Xbox interns are playing golf. Makes sense, man. Speaking of that, I want to take a quick look at how my FanDuel's doing. Probably terrible. I would be wrong. What is going on? Give me 1 second. Okay, Rory McIlroy was pointless. I'm just going to say that now. He is done terribly. So bad. Thank you, Brendan Todd. Okay. That's all I need to say. Getting Z monies, I'm placing. That's all I care about. If I place, I'm happy. I'm doing a lot better. I don't normally do well in FanDuel for golf. The Chief knows everything. That's all that I will tell you. I figured he's the only one we really need to question. We've kind of questioned everybody else. So I got a couple hours till that. Damon Gant. What does he have to do with anything? Golf has FanDuel. FanDuel has golf. I'm just very bad at it. As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. Feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff. Please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Hi, Professor O. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch.
Well, you're gonna have to hold up on that burrito from Chipotle, sir. You have a baseball free entry? Really? I've got a tab for FanDuel up. I gotta utilize this as much as I can. They have a free entry for baseball, really? I don't see no free entry. Oh, it's the home run challenge. Yeah, I'm terrible at those. I'm not even gonna bother today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm terrible at the home run challenge. I've always been terrible at it. Alright. Back to what's important. Hold up on that burrito, you will perhaps get jail food instead. Your name and occupation, sir. You got Giancarlo, Aaron Judge, and Mike Trout. Good options. Good options.
Worthy, are you sure you want to do this?
Your name and occupation.
So, you want to play hardball, eh?
Please, Mr. Gant.
Fine, fine. My name is Damon Gant. Some call me the Pokemon Professor. I'm the acting chief of police.
Just because it's free, why not? Yeah, makes sense. Take that chance. Maybe you get lucky. Now then, Chief Gant, The court requests to hear your testimony.
Oh, righto! What's with the grim face?
First, let's clear up this SL9 incident.
Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered the prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already.
There's still some things unaccounted for.
Oh, like what?
Like the role you played in all of this.
Son, either you're very brave or very foolish.
Even if I make 5 cents, it's still profit. That's the way I look at it, man. That's the way I look at it.
You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to.
What? Is that true?
I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify.
That doesn't seem right at all. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you.
Very well. This witness may now begin his testimony.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery.
Is that when Doc was arrested?
Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Doc bumped his head.
No, the chief doesn't have this kind of special treatment. Well, I don't know how is there. I don't know how is there. When's his plan in 2020? I expected as much.
I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut.
The police chief has the right to refuse to testify. I'd better hit him hard and fast.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day.
As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day.
Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Doc and made him run away like that.
Oh, Lord. His wife preyed on the choice. Understandable. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room?
I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Doc ran for it.
So the two of you ran immediately after him, right?
That's right. But Doc made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs, I guess you could say. He got lucky.
What's this about a power outage?
Oh, that.
The police chief has the right to refuse to testify. So can the politician, when he's charged for stealing from the public fund, so can the politician when he's charged for stealing from the public funds. Right? Right? mean, I got nothing. I'm just a dude with a film degree. I don't know nothing.
The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though.
You're really making a joke out of this, Cam. That's not funny. Could you tell us what you saw?
It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Doc was also lying collapsed on the floor. Why do I keep calling him Drake? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out.
You see Matt Cardona debut on AEW? I saw the clip of it. I saw the clip. I didn't watch it live, but I did see the clip. And I mean, that's the big get if you compare it to Cameron. Ugh. Why the hell did AEW sign her? I thought they were a smart company. Like, that's a terrible... Like, Cardona's a good signing. He's a good wrestler. He has a great finish. He looks great, but... Yeah, let's sign the person who literally can't wrestle for our already weak women's division. Next to them were those two poor girls. Yep. What in the name of God would give you the right not to testify in the high court just because of your rank? Didn't she quit? I thought she quit wrestling too, but I remember seeing an article of her coming back, but it was like on an indie fed. And then now she's all elite apparently. Terrible idea. Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Maybe she improv'd? I got nothing. I didn't even watch the clip with her in it because I'm like, I don't want to listen to it. Otherwise, she's just gonna be a dark wrestler. I don't even think she's good enough for that. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor? Yes. Anyway, dude, I just watched the clip. If you're gonna watch that, that way you can skip over her part in the real show. And watch good stuff. I'm just looking at the evidence. I'm not gonna present anything. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. She was already terrible, and the only place to go from there is up, right? Not when you're Cameron. you can get worse. And worse. And worse. Save, you will need it. Hope I didn't save too late, because I just screwed myself. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. She's terrible. She's so... Her favorite match is Melina versus Candice Michelle. I don't need any more reason to hate her. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. You're going to stare at anything. You'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Gan to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence. That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gan to the incident. Now, I will definitely save. Okay. Gotta remember she was Funkadacka and she didn't have the talent of Naomi. That's very true. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. I want to show some papers. That's what I just did. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list, for example. That's the... Gotta find my Sean Connery. There we go. There it is. There it is. I got it. That's the list Emma Sky drew her picture on. This was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of this jar was sitting in your office. Was found inside your safe. It was found where? You see, Chief Gan, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Boom! Chief Ganch, what's the meaning of this? Oh! Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery. Who? Me? Or do you mean you? Oh, fuck you, you old man. Come on. Falcon signed Dark West and Ard? I mean, that's not an upgrade over Desmond Trufant. Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office where you found this evidence. see what you're doing, old man. I see what you're doing, old man. Let's do the opt-outs. What old NFL players do you think could reappear? I've got no clue. I got no clue who might rear their ugly head back again. But the Patriots will get most of them and they'll play great.
Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto?
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Oh, I can see some XFL players. Yeah, I can see some XFL players.
Worthy, my boy.
Oh, Mr. Full of Jokes. Got any more?
Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment.
Well, what? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. I don't know why I could not read that.
Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene.
Oh, I could see Eli Rogers making a team. I could see Eli Rogers. And Brandon Marshall, maybe.
My, kids these days no longer know how to put 2 and 2 together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when these pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol.
You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences.
I saw a post and it was like, if any retired players could come back during the opt-outs, who would it be? First response is Brett Favre. I mean, we know he's got a knack for coming out of retirement. Oh.
Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again.
My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know.
All right, G. In return, though.
I know. That place. Right.
10 years out of retirement. Me and 50-year-old Brett Favre. Huh? What are these guys? Telepathic? Oh, okay. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations.
Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that.
What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped...
Mr. Wright, what are you saying?
Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? You have proof to the contrary. You're going to need it. You're going to need it later.
Later? What are you talking about? Just know Josh McCown has had a 16-year career and is the 4th oldest player, and he has played in a single playoff game. Lord, Josh McCown, man, he's been everywhere.
What else? I'm talking about when Wright's prints are found. Yes, they're found inside my safe. They would prove this investigation was illegal.
Never faced anyone as slimy as this guy.
Anyway, you can't...
What
do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. Suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery.
I'll make sure to save again. Don't worry, Moon. Concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery?
I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless.
I'll save right now, just make sure I do it. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation?
It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Doc was sentenced.
Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time.
Tell me something I don't know. Come on, Righto. Think about it.
How can you look me in the eye and say that?
Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil?
Not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Imashkai.
Well, now do you see?
Really, Chief Camp? At the very least, there is one large benefit you've reaped from all this.
Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh? The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive.
Ho, 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 ho! Oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think I'm that incompetent?
What do you mean?
Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little.
Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Yeah.
Be careful when pointing that finger. You might wind up being the one pointed at.
So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There. It's out in the open now. Yuji, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little?
By all means, please do.
I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me.
I'm just looking right now. That pause was a message? nothing in it for you?
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised.
You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Ho, ho, ho! Oh, that's a good one, Wabby.
There have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. I should have saved. Eagles, welcome to the stream, man. I should have saved there. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you've positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is the person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Year's 2069 and he is still on the trial. Well, Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Or, as some would call it, as the title of the books are phrased, a series of unfortunate events. The Netflix series, quite good. If you haven't watched it, highly recommend it. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana, if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Bruh, get back to your fanfic. Just get back to your fanfic. Get it through your head, Judge. Come on, man. Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite the imagination. How is this guy a judge? That's a great question. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? Well, that was a very well-timed gasp. That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana, she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. I'm gonna go ahead and add a new save there. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. I asked myself this thing from the first cases. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What?
What?
I can't believe this. Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront. This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible.
Don't shout order. That's a cliche.
Well, he does it. He does it plenty.
Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said
in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Here we go! Tag team! Let's do this! Let's do this! The offices of Edgeworth and Wright coming at you. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Click save again. I'm moving right along correctly, so this will go back to the number 1 spot. Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. And let's just say, I hit the jackpot. Oh! That was good, right? That was solid? Was that good? I feel like you guys didn't like that. I felt like that was a pretty good snapback. 7 digits. You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Ooh, Professor Oak, you looking angry. That was nice. Thank you, Moon. I appreciate it. I felt very proud about that. That is one of the most proud moments of my life, was coming up with that, and saying that out loud is really sad, but it was. I felt really good about that. Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing! I've got nothing! The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. The fact that he's angry says it all, yep. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Hey, again. You mad, bro? What you really mad for? Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. I've got to straighten my tie. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. Really? You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Quick save. Real quick save here. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. I mean, that kind of says enough. Alright, it is what I thought it was. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So, Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which
Which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered Paul Goodman. Exactly.
But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just let him in with his ID card.
Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort.
Sorry, but that's not possible.
According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet, you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman,
It would have been found on his body. Get him, Edgeworth! Set him up! We about to finish him! No! I think it's time for a pinfall.
Chief Gant, you didn't.
What's that, Chief Gant? I'm sorry. Nothing? Nothing? Nothing! Really? That doesn't sound like something an innocent man would say. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind. For no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the police office, or at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time I thought it was a useless clue just to take up space.
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence.
To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Well, I see. Maybe I'll use this later to move your dead body, Mr. Wright. Well, shit. Huh. Fuck.
And I'll help you dispose of it.
Shit. Chief Gant stayed at the police department and Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office. There was only one possible way he could have moved the body. The only problem is, how did he get him to do it? Maybe the piece of evidence really did have something to do with this case.
Ask you again, Mr. Wright. But the chief had moved the body.
See, I think I was overthinking it just a bit, but... I was overthinking it a bit. I was thinking, oh, it's the prosecutor's trophy that he gave to Edgeworth, and yeah. I was overthinking it. I knew it was, there were 3 options. I knew one probably wasn't it, and then the other 2, I forgot about it, even though I entirely, legitimately, was thinking I was going to need to use the screwdriver earlier on, and realized I didn't need to, and then I entirely forgot about it, right when I needed it. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body.
What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case?
Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here?
It's here because...
Oh! I already read that. This is flashback. I don't read flashbacks. We've read this in a past life.
After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office.
But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to.
You mean
The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by the car.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye.
Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations?
Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite.
It was a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something.
I believe your time's up.
My time's up.
Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. After this, we have to get going if we're to make it in time for the early bird special.
But the cross-examination isn't finished yet.
Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Like the right to refuse to testify I'm invoking right now.
What? This is not a right. That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this?
Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police.
Quick save.
His This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright,
Your Honor,
do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman, made Miss Sky dispose of his body.
do I have any concrete proof? Oh yeah, I'm guilty, but I will go to lunch because this is my right. Here we go. Can't let him just squirm his way out of this. Quick save. Gotta keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence.
Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, what exactly is this evidence?
It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge.
But I am the judge. Oh, shit.
Alright, well, what do you think, Your Honor?
What I think, Mr. Wright, is I'm going to be late for lunch.
Guess it wasn't enough. Shit. Please, Your Honor, give me just a little longer to consider.
Say it again, Mr. Wright.
Alright. I wonder. Nope, that's not it either. Quicker than going through what we just went through. Use the time machine? 5 something, so that's later than when he was murdered. So, it's just the same footage we're used to seeing. Yeah. It's the time machine. Nope, that's not it either. Time machine. Time machine. Time machine. Time machine. Oh, the save is the time machine? Oh. I thought you were literally talking about, like, give me a clue utilizing time machine. What is it? Oh, you legitimately were giving me a clue. I'm used to now the chat giving me solid clues. So I was expecting a solid clue that doesn't give it away, but gives me something there. So that's why I was trying to utilize it. Not right now. I'm trying to figure it out. I'll tell you when I need the back seat. Still got an idea or two in my head. No, that's not it either. I got maybe one more idea before I think I'm gonna have to take the back seat on this one. What puts the pressure on him? No. Okay. Well, I've got one more option. There's literally only one more thing I can think of to utilize. If this next one doesn't work, then I'll take the back seat. Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely just at least give me a hint that helps. You don't have to straight up tell me, but, a hint would not be bad. He goes with the CM Punk chance. But Moon, if you want to give me a hint that gives me some idea, I'm down with that. You don't have to fully tell me exactly what it is. Is there something on the back here? I thought there was something on the back. Ever fully check this out? Yeah, I did. Couldn't fully check that out. Okay. What is it, bro? Annoying. I can't think what puts him directly there. Like, what is the concrete this 110% puts him there? Like, the only thing I could think of would be if Lana testified. But she's not gonna testify. I don't think that would definitively. Thought about maybe the photo, but I don't think that, you know, definitively does it. Wait a minute. I doubt that will get the job done, but we haven't used the rubber glove yet. There's only two I can think of. have no proof. I have no proof? Really? So we're supposed to let him walk? This is bullshit. Damn, that was a good amount of time afterwards. Oh, we'll go quick. This is the only way I can get through. Because I saved after I said I have evidence on the last one. Because this was the blackmail. This real quick. The evidence that tied him to the murder was... What was the evidence that tied him to the murder? No, I didn't save from the response. I saved afterwards, after I'd already picked it. So I gotta go through that again. What was it? It was just a screwdriver, right? Oh, ties into because I made my awesome joke. Don't worry, we'll get back pretty quick. Just gonna sit here and press X. We've been through all this. Coming up to time-wise. Yeah, we're fine. Just to prove that this. I really hope Anthony Davis plays today. If he does not, and Edgeworth gets all serious. No! Oh, I bet I know what happens. I bet I know what happens. No, Your Honor, at present I have no conclusive evidence. CUG?
In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief.
What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Yuji, I'll leave the rest to you. You gotta be shitting me.
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency.
What?
Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony.
Lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness, who can answer the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person?
Why are you asking me, Your Honor? What have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. I know who it is. I figured it was gonna happen a little differently. Okay. It did get to the point that I thought it was gonna get to.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
May not be willing to tell the truth. Can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth Miss Lana Sky.
The defendant, Miss Lana Sky.
She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body, in accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Sir Edgeworth.
The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor.
Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in recess.
Hold on.
Huh?
Oh, never mind, Chief Gant.
Chief Gant, thought you were going to eat.
Listen, good Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right then. I've got a lunch date to meet.
Dear Lord, maybe we aren't finishing this game today. Whew! Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess.
Woo! Whew. Dear Lord, we've been here 4 hours in the game. Nearly in reality. More psychological warfare, yep.
Looks like we managed to stay in the game.
Yeah. Thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe!
I'm not a detective anymore.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Hey, don't worry.
I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure, I'll take the place of that top knotted girl you used to work with. You mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How's he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair yet. It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said.
But Chief, this is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh, it's Emma! God, I keep thinking Lana's coming in. Emma! Are you okay?
Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she's heard everything that's been going on. Emma? Sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders, she must have shut herself up deep inside. Force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't you go blaming yourself now. You want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery. But he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here?
No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Woo! Okay, well, since we got another to be continued moment, and I get a chance to save, I'm also going to take this moment to just get up, stretch my legs a bit, and give you guys another ad break. Yeah, I feel like we're so damn close to the end. I want to finish this. I really badly want to finish this tonight. Even though I've been keeping a very close eye on my FanDuel lineups as well. I really want to get this finished tonight. So, we're going to get through this. Let me save one more time before I forget that I even did it. I'll be back in 60 seconds or just a bit more. I will see you guys then. Well, Moon, good night. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. And what do you mean we got more episodes? I thought this was the last episode. I thought episode 5 was the last one. And then we go on to the second game. What? Oh, God, man. This game's just gonna keep throwing shit at us, I guess. Alright, let's go. Oh. This episode came out of nowhere. They gave us the credits and everything, and then this episode happened. So I figured, okay, this is the last episode. 5 episodes, that's good. Depends, you have the full game? I got the trilogy set. I got the trilogy set because it was on sale. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. Sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
What? I thought they gave us the credits at the end of the 4th episode, and I was like, oh, that's good, that was a good game, that was great. And then this popped up, I'm like, okay, there's 5 days, that makes sense, round up. Game, you can't be doing this to me. You can't be getting my hopes up. How much was it? The set was like $20, it was on sale. This was back around Christmas. This was back around Christmas when I got it. But it was on sale. It was like 50 or 60% off, so I was like, yes. It's like 20 or 30 bucks. Of course, the truth.
Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. The only motivation was to get Doug convicted, and it had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about this testimony?
You know what? I will still lay around. Okay, Moon. Okay. Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure.
But Lana!
This is true, and that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning.
Please, Mr. Wright, help her! She's sacrificing herself because of me!
What if she's telling the truth?
She's not! I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Good to know. Yeah. This is no time to start second guessing myself.
The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
I worked alongside Gant for years. Sure you did. How many years exactly? ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that'd be 5 years.
Detective Gent and Detective Sky were legendary partners. Personally saw them testify in numerous cases.
Must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Scott. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him.
Lana!
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago.
You say you did this all by yourself? Yes.
Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's back.
Wait, what?
What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. Okay, I see what you're doing. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fenner says all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, it was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. It's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me.
So, when you found the sheen like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. You planted the tip of Drake's knife
and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad. Maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others.
But why did you do that? Come on, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out.
Very well. Let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife.
I'm only doing this to get the body question answered. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk.
But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
see if, like... That's weird! Oh, shit. Okay. Piece of the jar? You mean... Yes. That wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient? I don't know why I can't pronounce that. Be more expedient to move the body. Expected. No. Expedient. What is that word? Whatever. I don't care. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Drake was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have broken during their struggle. Or shoe. What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently, the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. That's a good question. How do you write the name on the jar when it was broken? Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." There you go. I have saved. I probably shouldn't have saved there, thinking about it. Probably should have saved elsewhere. We'll overwrite this save as well. Just because, why not? That's right.
You have a problem with that.
It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something crucial here. Something crucial? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are. About the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You mean you are the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time.
She didn't think Dirk was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Whew. Man, it is windy outside. Woo!
So the jar was already broken?
It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier.
Certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case.
Not as feeble as the judge's judgment.
You are an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces?
Normally, I would have. But it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood.
I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? You really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall? You wouldn't have wiped away the blood.
What else could I have done in that situation?
Lana!
I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragment.
But how could you see with the power out? Should have been pitch black in that office.
A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me.
Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go.
I never missed anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was,
Don't need to worry about talking about that. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene.
yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions.
I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time.
It's not too late. Still plenty of time to make up. We've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office.
More contradictions here have surfaced in her testimony.
Sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. One final possibility that might turn everything around. Ugh. I hate to do it, but with the fact that it looks like we're definitely not getting this done in the time that I thought we would, I was thinking it'd take about 4 hours to get done with this. I might just save it here. Hold off till next week. And then hopefully we can get done this episode, because apparently we got a lot more left. God, this trial, I'll tell you, man. This trial just continues to kill me. Every single time. It's just, feels like we're almost done. Then more happens. Feels like we're almost done. Then more happens. Okay, I think we're getting done this stream. More happens. You can't be throwing this much at me. But with that, let me get the jams going here for you guys to head out on. There are trials in real life that take years. Yeah, I know. I just didn't expect a video game to follow suit. You know what? Let's go with this one. I've been complaining about how long these trials are taking. Let's go with this track. It's always a good one to roll with. Whoops. And with that, I just want to say thank you to you guys who were here the entirety, essentially, of this stream. Even if you were only here for a little bit, I appreciate it. This game, I love it. It takes so much out of me, though, going through these trials. Whew. But we went nearly 4 hours today. Just under. Next week. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but next week, I will definitely go to sleep now. Yeah, you will, Moon. But next week, I might do an early stream. We may just sit here all day and get done. Who knows? I don't know how I'll be feeling next week. If I'm feeling up to it, we might just sit here and go as long as I possibly can. But for now, I'm going to stop here. Mainly because I did have a timetable that I wanted to get it done. Looks like it's going to take longer than that. So we'll stop it here. Once again, thank you everybody. Tomorrow, Danganronpa, we'll probably do it early, normal time. That way we can run through a lot if need be. I will see you guys tomorrow.